And I'm going to start on the point of the policy of healthcare because I think it goes to the central problem we face as a people right now. A lot of folks are talking about, quote, affordability. It's become the political hot button buzzword, affordability. This is being driven intentionally by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle because they've got virtually nothing to run on. And so they made a choice to shut the government down in order to set up a fight and to try to elevate the issue of health care because they believe they can win on it politically. So I want everybody to think about that for a minute. They shut down the government because they want to politicize the issue of health care, not actually work to solve the problem. Republicans, in my view, have avoided the issue of health care out of political fear, historically. I believe that this Republican Congress, this Republican House and Senate, and this Republican-led White House has the opportunity today to transform healthcare for the American people so that it can be affordable, so that they can have choice, so they can go to the doctor of their choice, to empower doctors and patients, not insurance bureaucrats and government bureaucrats. And I want to repeat that again, because I'm going to engage in a colloquy and yield to my friend from Missouri in a moment on this important topic. Right now, the average American family is getting crushed, unable to afford health care because Democrats broke our health care system. I want to be very clear. Democrats knowingly chose to break the American health care system 15 years ago. We told the world what would happen, and it has come true. American families and the businesses that employ most of them, they're spending about $25,000 a year for insurance premiums that give them fewer options, restrictions on what they can do, higher copays, higher deductibles, and fundamentally makes it impossible for them to have actual care. And I go back to my point about In God We Trust and celebrating the Christmas season. And as Christians, we are called to take care of those less fortunate than we are. We are called to help those who need help. That is why if you go look at so many of our hospitals historically that were nonprofits built up from faith-centered institutions. That's why so many hospitals are Saint fill-in-the-blank hospital. Because Christians came together to say we should care for those who need help. But then came in government. In all of its infinite wisdom, government came in and regulated healthcare, restricted our options, socialized the payments. And now what is the result? An impossibility of the average American family to be able to actually get health care from the doctor of their choice. The inability to go get insurance that will give them comfort that if the cancer that I got in 2011 hits them, that they'll be able to go get care because they can't afford it. And they can't afford it because we broke it. And we didn't break it, Democrats broke it. And right now, Republicans have a choice. Go along with Democrats to continue to socialize health care, continue to enrich insurance companies, continue to take away options from the American people, or stand up for health care freedom. Stand up for the ability of an average American family to be able to go to the doctor of their choice, get insurance, go have health sharing ministries, go to MediShare, be able to defray cost, rather than having constrained, regulated, no option, expensive health management by bureaucrats. That's what we have. The fact is, there's this big debate right now about so-called subsidies. I want to be very clear about what we're talking about. We're talking about COVID-era pandemic cash that was thrown out into our economy, in this case, for some plus-ups, for some subsidies for the broken Obamacare system. And now we're 5 years removed from COVID, and my Democrat colleagues are trying to say that if we don't extend those subsidies, somehow we're denying people health care. That's just flat false. It's a lie. The fact is, Obamacare remains in place. Its subsidy structure remains in place, for better or worse. And those subsidies that they're talking about would literally go into the pockets of insurance companies whose profits are up 1,000+% over the last decade. It is an insurance enrichment scheme. My Democratic colleagues broke health care, and now they are down here saying, we must give more money to insurance companies. That's what they're saying. And any Republican who goes along with that needs to answer for doing the same thing. Why would we give more money to the insurance companies that saddled up with government to enrich themselves rather than help the American people? 85% of all Affordable Care Act revenue insurers receive comes from the federal taxpayers. 85% of all of the revenue, I should say, that the insurers receive are coming from the federal taxpayers. Insurers received at least $35 billion in federal subsidies in 2024 for people who didn't use their plan a single time. $35 billion went into the pockets of insurance companies for people who didn't even use their plan. I want to say this, and then I'm going to yield to my friend from Missouri. We have solutions. When people say Republicans don't have a plan, it's false. We've put out plans. We've put out solutions. We have solutions. We believe in expanding people's access to care by empowering them with the same tax treatment, equal tax treatment that corporations get. Individuals should get the same tax deductions and tax breaks to be able to have health care. We believe in expanded health savings accounts that you can use for direct primary care to go to a doctor, have that doctor's cell phone number, have a relationship with that doctor, not be put into some complicated scheme where you have to get approval for somebody who's in network or not in network, who may or may not be within 100 miles of your house. We want American people to be empowered. We want them to be able to go defray costs and share costs in health sharing ministries and MediShare and all of these different organizations that are, frankly, the last lifeboat that people have right now for access to care. We want to allow providers to own hospitals rather than being restricted from being able to do that, so that the corporate monolithic hospitals are the only option. We want 1,000 flowers to bloom for people to have the freedom option. And guess what? You can leave Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act structure, all in place. Leave it all sitting there. But just provide the American family with a freedom option. Allow them to have choice. Shouldn't that be our right in America? People talk about a right to health care. What they're really saying with that is that government should be providing health care rather than the individual, the family, being able to have the right to get the care of their choice. What on earth kind of freedom do you have in a country where you literally can't go get health care? You're prohibited from it. The government has stopped us from exercising our freedom. We have plans. What we don't have is the backbone and the willpower to stand up and deliver. And I say do it now. I say stand up and fight for healthcare freedom now. I'm tired of it. I don't want another election. I don't want another, don't worry, we'll do it next time. I want to do it now because too many people are suffering at the hands of a bureaucracy and the tyranny of government-run health management rather than the ability to get care. The current situation with respect to health care exists entirely by record of vote and a record of policies because my Democrat colleagues put forward policies that the American people are having to live under today. They broke the healthcare system. My Democratic colleagues are proposing an insurance company enrichment scheme. Literally, they are printing money in the Treasury and giving it to insurance companies. Their solution for healthcare is enriching insurance companies. Our solution for healthcare is empowering doctors. Our solution for healthcare is empowering people. Our solution for healthcare is spreading costs out among people who want to help each other out in the American way. It is why I started talking about Christmas. The question for Republicans is, if not now, when? When are we going to stand up and deliver for the American people that basic right, I will say it, right, to access health care of our choice without government interfering, without government regulating, without stealing our ability to care for our own families and loved ones in our community? I know my friend from Missouri feels the same way. He's done incredible work on this subject. We are aligned, I think, almost entirely on the opportunity for Republicans to lead, the opportunity for Republicans to stand up and deliver for the American people on health care freedom for every American. Every American should be able to do that. And with that, I will be happy to yield such time as he shall consume.